Hey everyone, this is Jonathan from Tar Heel Smoke. Today we are going to be doing a bone-in picnic pork shoulder on the Weber Kettle. So first thing, uh, I unwrapped this from its packaging the night before and let it sit uncovered in the fridge overnight just to try to get that skin as dry as possible. Of course, you can go over it with a paper towel afterward, pick up anything that you need to that didn't quite dry off overnight. But after that, you're going to want to take your knife and just try to make some perforations in the skin. You don't want to go too deep down to the meat, but you definitely want to penetrate that fat cap just to try to get some of those juices out and flowing as best you can. So just load it up, and um, this is perfectly good for the skin. It'll help it crisp up while it cooks, but also we'll get that fat render as well, which is super important. So let's go ahead and move to the grill. Today, as you can see, we're running a Weber kettle with B&B oak lump charcoal. And we're going to get this lit. I just do a little pile. I actually used just a bunch of leftover coals that I had from the night before. So just going to light that. This little handheld electric lighter is amazing for this, for smoking, because it lights it in like 2 minutes. Um, so get this fire going, and we're gonna immediately just put the meat on. As soon as this is lit, I'm gonna push it back into my grill's normal spot, and I'm just gonna throw the pork on. I haven't, let the coals come up to temperature or anything. We're just going on. I found that this is the best for getting the most amount of smoke that you can on a pork shoulder. Or anything really when you're smoking. So just get it on as early as possible. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about dirty smoke. You're probably not going to get it. So now what we're going to do, now that the pork is on, we're going to cover the skin completely in salt. And I'm using just like Target brand iodized salt. And you can go as heavy as you possibly can. Just pour the salt all over the skin. Wherever it'll stick, just pour it on top. Don't be shy. I think this entire container was something like 70 cents or something. So just be as liberal as you can. Get as much covered. Throw a piece of wood on there. I'm using hickory today. Get your vents adjusted and let it ride. So this is about 4 hours in. As you can see, beautiful color. It's nice, rich, cherry, mahogany color on the meat. You can see that salt barrier has started to solidify and it's browned. That's doing its job. It's sucking up all the moisture out of the skin. And so we're gonna just not touch it at all. Leave it intact. If you touch it, it's gonna fall apart, and you definitely don't want that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get some more coals into the slow and sear. I'm using a slow and sear here. So load this up with some more coals, put another chunk of wood in there, and keep on smoking. We're about 4 hours in. I'm running about 250 on this fire, just all the way. The vents are just maybe half open on the top and the bottom, just enough to keep the fire going. So this is now 6 hours in. Everything's looking good. Just gonna keep the fire going. As you can see, it's getting a little bit darker, which is great. That's how you know it's getting a little bit closer. But color is one thing. We definitely want to be checking for temperatures here. The closer we get to like 150, 160, we'll be in the stall, and then you can start thinking about wrapping. But we're just going to keep on cooking. Okay, we are now at about 8 hours in, and we're really going to start looking at the temperatures now. So I just checked; it's about 165, 170, and that means it's time to wrap. So let's get the salt knocked off of the pork shoulder at this point, because now we really want to get that skin as crisp as possible. And today we're going to be doing a foil boat method. So if you don't know what that is, we're basically going to take 2 pieces of heavy duty foil paper, and we're going to completely wrap the sides of this pork shoulder, but we're going to leave the top exposed, and that's going to help not only cook everything, and we're going to get that fat rendered more, but the skin is going to crisp up, and that's most important if we're going to do skin on pork shoulder, just to get that crispy skin. So we're going back on. At this point, we can run temps about 300. It'll be totally fine. Again, we're just trying to render fat at this point and get that skin crisped up. So let it ride. Don't be afraid. Pork butts are super forgiving. All right, so we're back inside. I finished this in my toaster oven just at 325 just to finish it. It was getting dark out. But It's probing, very tender. It's temping at about 197, 200. So we're done at this point cooking the meat. I'm gonna put it back under the broiler to get that skin nice and crispy. And you're not going to be able to get everything on this just because of the shape of the skin. It's going to be difficult to get every last bit of it crispy, but go ahead and do the best you can. I'm going to pull it off here, and I actually put it back under the broiler to see if I can get a little bit more out of it. But at this point, I've let it rest for about an hour and a half or so, and we're going to start pulling. The point of resting, again, is to try to let the meat reabsorb some of those juices and to prevent that excess steam from drying your food out. So at this point, we're going to start pulling. Pork picnic shoulders have a lot of connective tissue, a lot of weird chunks in there. So I really suggest getting in there with your hands and feeling around, seeing what is edible and what isn't edible. Again, we're trying to maximize as much product as we can out of these cuts. Don't forget that at this point, we haven't actually seasoned the meat yet. Remember, we just put the salt on the skin. We haven't done anything else to the rest of the meat. So once you've got it all pulled, go ahead and just season it with whatever you've got. I'm doing a combination of salt, pepper, and garlic here, just keeping it really simple. To add some flair, I put in a sort of a take on an Eastern North Carolina vinegar sauce, which is this mixture of sambal, white vinegar, sugar, and salt. And we're just going to pour a little bit of that over top. And get that all mixed through again. This is great. It cuts through the fat. It's got a little bit of spice. Perfect for topping on a sandwich. And so yeah, that's all. That's a pretty basic, straightforward cook on a pork shoulder. It's a super forgiving meat. Go try one yourself and let me know in the comments how you do.